Good afternoon once again from Dooley Health and Care Field in Joliet, Illinois. It's the home of the University of St. Francis Fighting Saints. Losers of Game 1 of today's doubleheader, 9-4 was the final score as Roosevelt took the opener, but we're set now for a second game, a 9-inning affair between the Fighting Saints and the Lakers. Terry Bonadonna with you once again on the play-by-play for today's game. Let's take a look at the Game 2 starting lineups. First for the visitors from Roosevelt, if you remember Game 1, this one will sound awfully familiar to you. JoJo Mack leads things off. Mack is today's designated hitter. Batting second, center fielder Bryce Heyman. Kakoa Ogawa hits third and plays third base. Batting fourth, shortstop Luis Delgado. Jack Kiefer is in the number 5 spot. Kiefer plays first. James Berry is in left field. Sammy Estrada hits 7th behind the plate. Luke Palucci is in right field. And batting 9th, second baseman Sebastian Casillas. The starting pitcher for Roosevelt in Game 2 is right-hander Kellen Turner. For St. Francis, leading off, second baseman Alex Martinez. Josh Kernbauer bats second and left. Hitting third, first baseman Nate Maliska. Jake Klepash is the cleanup hitter and right fielder. Brian Hidalgo bats fifth at shortstop. Drew Dant is at third base, and I'll get you the final 3 starters in just a moment. Sam Pileggi on the mound, ready for the first pitch of today's game number 2. And Pileggi's first toss is over for strike 1. We're underway, 3:09 p.m. Central Daylight Time here in Joliet. 0-1 on JoJo Mack. Pileggi sets for the next pitch, and Mack flails at it. Strike 2. Rest of the starters for St. Francis, John McGuire is the designated hitter in the 7 spot. Cliff Vickers bats 8th and plays center. And hitting 9th, catcher Dan Gusel. 0-2 on JoJo Mack. Pileggi tries to put him away. Line drive to left field, a base hit for Mack. Mack is on base for the 3rd time in the twin bill. A leadoff single gets Roosevelt rolling in the top of the 1st inning. The numbers on Sam Pileggi coming in, 0-2 with a 15.88 ERA. This is his 5th start of the season and 6th appearance overall. Over 11 1/3 innings, he's allowed 20 runs on 13 hits, 20 walks. He has 9 strikeouts. Opponents have hit .302 against him. Bryce Heyman swings at the first pitch, flies it into center field. Cliff Vickers backs up and makes the catch. For the first out of the inning, Mack tags from first base and advances to second. Heads up base running by Mack. He recognized early on that ball was going to be caught, but Vickers was backpedaling as he pulled it in, so he was in no position to make the throw into second base. Man in scoring position now with 1 away. The batter is Kakoa Ogawa. Ogawa's been the best hitter on the team this year for Roosevelt, but he was the only man who didn't contribute to the offensive attack in Game 1. He went 0 for 5. As Roosevelt scored 9 runs in the ball game on 11 hits, 12 hits actually. He takes ball 1 low. RBI chance for Ogawa here. He's got a team best 22 of them this season. Hitting with runners in scoring position was a consistent problem for Roosevelt in Game 1 until the 6th inning. That's a fly ball into left field. Kernbauer turns around on it, and it's over his head. 1 hop high off the wall. Mack advances to third. He'll try to score. The relay throw from left field is high, and JoJo Mack scores the first run of the game. Ogawa takes third base as the throw sailed over the head of Dan Gusel. I praised Mack's base running on the initial play when he tagged up from first and went to second on the flyout. Not very good base running that time. He didn't get a read on that ball, and he would have been out by a solid 20 feet had the throw been there, but Brian Hidalgo's relay throw sailed over Gusel's head. And so on the errant toss, Mack was able to score, and Ogawa moved up to third base. Here's Luis Delgado with just 1 out in the inning. Strike 1 called. It's a double for Ogawa. Again, he advanced to third on the wild throw. Check swing. Delgado couldn't hold himself up. Strike 2. Delgado had a big game 1. 2 for 4 with a single and a double. He also brought home a run, reaching on an error. One of just 3 strikeout victims, though, in his only negative at bat. Pileggi sets for the 0-2, trying to put Delgado back to the dugout. A wild pitch. Here comes Ogawa from third base, and he makes it 2-0. One and 2 on Delgado. The bases are empty. Wild throwing is causing problems for St. Francis here in the top of the first inning. First on a bad relay throw, and now on a bad pitch. A ball and 2 strikes, nobody on, 1 out. Luis Delgado, the right-handed hitting infielder, swings and pops it up on the infield. Nate Maliska tracks it into foul territory. He makes the catch. 2 away. So the wild pitch looks to be even more costly now, as Delgado was unable to hit the ball out of the infield. Assuming the same result with a man at third base, that run would not have scored. Here's Jack Kiefer.
First baseman, number 28, Jack Kiefer.
Kiefer went 0 for 3 with a walk and a run in Game 1 this afternoon. He swings through strike 1. Game 2 of a 4-game series. Right now between St. Francis and Roosevelt. The Lakers snapped the Saints' 6-game win streak in the opener this afternoon. Ball 1 to even the count. This, of course, is Game 2 right now, and then they'll play 2 more tomorrow. Those will be up in Crestwood at Roosevelt's home. Ball up and in. It's 2-1. Pileggi's had a problem with walks on the season. He's done a good job getting ahead of hitters in this first inning today. But he's been hit a little bit, a single and a double. That ball is hit hard. Could be playable for Vickers, though, as the center fielder backs up and makes the grab. Inning over. 2 runs, 2 hits, nobody left on base. We will head to the bottom of the first inning. Roosevelt 2, Saints nothing.
Leading off the St. Francis first inning, the second baseman, number 3, Alex Martinez.
Alex Martinez will lead things off for the Fighting Saints in the bottom of the first inning. St. Francis trying to overcome an early 2-run deficit. It's Martinez, Kernbauer, and Maliska here in the first, and the first pitch misses high for ball one. Klepash, Hidalgo, Dant, McGuire, Vickers, and Goosel make up the rest of the lineup. Facing junior righty Kellen Turner out of Hawaii. Turner misses inside, 2-0. Turner this season, 0-3, a 9.13 ERA. He's making his 6th start of the season. He's pitched a grand total of 22 2/3 innings coming into play today. He's allowed 28 runs, 23 of them earned on 30 hits, with 14 strikeouts and 8 walks. Opponents are batting .309 against him for the season. His 3-0 pitch to Martinez misses for ball 4. Not a great start for Turner after his offense spotted him 2 runs. He comes out and puts the first man on base on just 4 tosses. And that'll bring up Josh Kernbauer with 1 on and nobody out. Kernbauer will get his first at bat of the day. It was Max Montgomery in left field in game 1. Kernbauer sitting .261 with a homer and 6 RBIs this year. He takes a strike. St. Francis' offense has been flying high in recent games. Ball 1 on Kernbauer to even the count. They got off to a great start in game 1 today and then fell apart after that. Didn't score over the final 5 innings. So they're trying to get back on track here. Snap out of this funk that started last game. Hit and run is a roller over to shortstop, picked up by Delgado. His throw to first is wild, and everybody is safe. So Kernbauer reaches on the throwing error. Martinez advances to second on the play. Again, it was a hit and run with Martinez moving from first. Delgado was going to cover second base. As he fielded that ball, you can tell what he's thinking. Martinez was running with the pitch. He's going to get to second before I have a chance to get him out. So I'll just throw to first. It seemed like the safest play. Nate Maliska drops down a bunt back to the pitcher. Turner throws to first. That throw is on the mark. 1 away. It's a sacrifice for Maliska. Kernbauer up to second base. Martinez to third. Going back to that Kernbauer play, I think that Delgado actually had a play at second base. He was only a step away from the bag as he fielded that ball. I think he would have gotten there before Martinez if he had taken 1 step to his left. I don't know if they would have turned 2, but he decided to take the sure thing at first instead, and it turned out not to be a sure thing when his throw was wild. Here's Klepash swinging at the first pitch and fouling it back out of play for strike 1. Jake Klepash, a .474 hitter coming in, went 0 for 3 in game 1. He did drive in a run. He takes a strike, 0-2. Martinez walked. Kernbauer reached on an error. Each team has committed an error here in the first. Turner's ahead in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. Ground ball to the right side of the infield. This will get a run in. Nobody covers first base. And Klepash is safe at first on an infield single. It's a 2-1 game. That was the pitcher Turner's job to get over to first base. He just didn't do it. First baseman Jack Kiefer gloved it, looked back to the bag, and there was nobody within 15 feet of it. So Klepash easily beats the play to first. Kernbauer moves up to third base. Martinez scores. Tying run now just 90 feet away as Brian Hidalgo steps in. Hidalgo swings the first pitch, grounds it to short. Delgado tries to backhand it, can't make the play. And once again, everybody is safe. A run scores. We're knotted up at 2. St. Francis, 5 batters into the game, has not hit the ball out of the infield yet. But they've scored 2 runs, and they've got 2 more men on base. And now the big bopper, Drew Dant. Dant went 1 for 3 with a double in game 1. He's hitting .440. 14 extra base hits this year. He takes a big cut and misses. Strike 1. Back-to-back infield singles, 1 for Klepash and 1 for Hidalgo. Have brought home a pair of runs. We're tied at 2. The first inning remains strong for St. Francis. Strike called on Dant, 0-2. In conference play, they have scored early in just about every game. Another crooked number here. Both teams have scored in the first inning in both games. Dant pops it up, shallow center field. This could be trouble for Roosevelt, and it does drop in for a base hit. Another hit for Dant. Everybody advances one base. They're loaded. Not a whole lot Klepash could have done about that. Didn't know if that was going to be caught or not, so he had to stay close to second base. He had no chance to score. Luis Delgado gave it his all, but wasn't able to get there. And it was way too shallow for Bryce Heyman to have any chance. Bases loaded for John McGuire, who takes ball one. That little bloop base hit for Dant that dropped into shallow left center was the deepest hit of the game so far for the Fighting Saints. It's the only ball that has left the infield. Ball outside, 2-0. Walk, error, sacrifice bunt, infield single, bloop single. That's been the inning. Aside from that leadoff walk, it's been about as unlucky as you can imagine for Kellen Turner. The walk is the only thing you could really charge to him. Everything else has been either bad defense or bad luck. There's a foul ball off to the right side and out of play. 2-1 on John McGuire, who had a pair of hits in game one and scored one run. Two-one pitch. McGuire takes low. There's nowhere to put him. Bases are loaded. A walk would bring Klepash in from third base. He reached on an infield single earlier this inning. 3-1 on McGuire. Cliff Vickers is on deck. And McGuire takes ball four. The easiest RBI he'll pick up this year. Didn't have to take the bat off his shoulder. 3-2, St. Francis leads as Klepash scores. Hidalgo moves to third. Dant up to second. And for John McGuire, RBI number 10 this year. Brings Jason Becker out to the mound to have a little meeting with his starting pitcher. It's been a rough first inning for Kellen Turner, and as I mentioned a moment ago, it for the most part hasn't been his fault. You can't make any excuses for him walking McGuire with the bases loaded, but he has run into some really tough luck this inning. Although I should say, Klepash's infield single you could blame on Turner as well. It was his job in that case to cover first base, and he didn't. So you can, just as an observer, put the blame on him on that one. It's similar, I guess, to a pitcher committing an error. If that run scores, it is an unearned run because you're not measuring pitcher's fielding skills, you're measuring his pitching skills. Similarly here, you can't really put that failure to cover first base against him as a pitcher. But as a baseball player, certainly. Cliff Vickers takes a strike. So the meeting on the mound at least served to settle him in for one pitch. Bases loaded. Only one out. That was on the sacrifice bunt early this inning. Vickers takes low, 1-1. Cliff Vickers went 1 for 3 with a double in game one. A double here would score at least 2 runs, maybe 3. Any hit will score at least 1. He flies it foul out to the right side. That's out of play. And Turner's just 1 strike away from sending Vickers down on strikes. He could use a strikeout here. Dan Goosel stands on deck. McGuire at first, Dant at second, Hidalgo at third. The 1-2. Low and in, ball 2. The next pitch will be the 25th of the inning for Kellen Turner, who again still only recorded 1 out. Pickoff throw to first, and he throws it away. Hidalgo scores. Dant is being waved around third base. The throw comes in from shallow right field, and it's not in time. It's a 2-run throwing error on Kellen Turner, and the Fighting Saints lead 5-2. McGuire advances to second base on the play. Brian Mahalik took a risk waving Dant around all the way from second base on the play, but it worked out just fine. 2 runs are in, and at least for Turner, he doesn't have to worry about the bases being loaded anymore. Takes a little bit of pressure off of him, but just don't look back at the scoreboard now. They're trailing by 3. Up and away, 3-2 on Vickers. Turner is struggling in all facets right now. He's not throwing a lot of strikes. He's committed 1 mental error defensively, and now he's got a physical error defensively as well. Vickers fouls it away. Still hasn't been hit hard. The 3 hits for the Saints this inning have all been singles, 2 of them on the infield, and one of them a little blooper into shallow left center. But the Lakers are shooting themselves in the foot repeatedly. 2 errors committed this inning. Ground ball down the first base line. That's a foul ball. Plus the defensive lapse from earlier in the frame that I mentioned. It's a tough first for the Lakers, and to think they were up 2-0 after the top half of the frame. They got off to a great start, and it's faded on them very quickly. 8th pitch of the at-bat coming up to Vickers. Another foul ball. Now he's making Turner work. A lot of early in the count swings earlier this inning, but they're not letting Turner off easy here. He's thrown over 30 pitches. Still only 1 out. The force play is no longer in effect anywhere but first base. Vickers grounds it to the right side. Casillas moves to his left, fields it, and throws to first in time. And there's the second out of the inning. The runner advances. That's McGuire at third base now. And Dan Gussel is the 9th batter of the inning. Good battle between Vickers and Turner, but ultimately, despite a good swing from Vickers, it's won by the pitcher. Gussel swings the first pitch and pops it up on the infield. This should get the Lakers out of the inning. And it does, as the first baseman Kiefer makes the grab to retire the side. A long first, though. St. Francis scores 5 runs on 3 hits, 2 errors. They leave a man at third base as we head to the second inning. It's 5-2 Saints. We saw a very eventful first inning in which Roosevelt scored 2 runs, and then St. Francis bounced back with 5 of their own. We saw a very eventful start to game 1 as well, and then eventually settled in and became much more of a pitcher's ball game. We'll see if this one follows the same trajectory as we move into the second. Barry, Estrada, and Palucci are due up against Sam Pileggi, whose first pitch is taken up and away. Ball 1. James Barry was arguably the player of the game for Roosevelt in game 1. 2 hits, a walk, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. Ball outside, 2-0. Roosevelt had 2 hits in the first inning, but their runs scored on a wild pitch and an error. There's a called strike, 2-1. Similarly, St. Francis had 3 hits in the bottom of the first, which is always a good inning. But that's not how they got most of their runs. 2 errors committed. There's a high fly ball into shallow right. Klepash started back, now tracks it in. He gives way to the second baseman, Alex Martinez. And Martinez retires Barry. 1 down in the second.
Number 43, Sammy Estrada.
St. Francis drew their first loss in a conference game in a couple of weeks earlier this afternoon. Trying to get back on the horse here, and they're off to a really good start. This is how they generally win games. They might give up a bunch, but they're going to score a bunch back. Here's Sammy Estrada. Estrada swings at the first pitch, pops it into foul ground left side. Dant over in front of the Roosevelt dugout, and it's several rows up into the seats. Strike 1 on Estrada. Sammy Estrada was a big hitter in game 1. Sacrifice bunt, 2 hits, and an RBI for the Roosevelt catcher. Lakers are using the identical lineup here in game 2 to the one they used in game 1. The only difference, obviously, is the pitcher. Kellen Turner in this one after Jake Glickman went the distance in game 1. Estrada turns on it out to deep left field into the corner. That's foul and out of play. Close to home run distance on that ball, but he pulled it well foul, and he falls behind in the count, 0-2. Pileggi's next pitch, trying to put Estrada away. Ball 1. Sam Pileggi today is trying to pick up his first win of the year. 1-2 pitches in the dirt, 2-2. There was a time where Ryan Daly had pretty much all of the Fighting Saints wins. That's no longer the case. Mac Malshevsky has picked up a couple. Ethan Fleming took the loss earlier today, but he had a win earlier this year. Swing and a miss, strike 3. First strikeout of the game for Pileggi. 2 down in the second inning. 4 straight set down by the Fighting Saints sophomore. And he'll face Palucci with 2 outs and nobody on. First pitch to Palucci is fouled away for strike 1. Sam Pileggi, by the way, is a junior, not a sophomore. My mistake. Righty to righty, the 0-1 pitch. Up high, ball 1. St. Francis pitchers had just one 1-2-3 inning in game 1. It was the final inning of the game. It was pitched by Zach Blazekovich. 1-1 count. Popped foul to the right again near the dugout. This time Gusel watches it drift out of play. The Lakers are 1 strike away from being retired in the second. There were a number of occasions in game 1, 2 in particular, in which Roosevelt had their first 2 batters retired. And then they started a 2-out rally. So Pileggi's still got a lot to be concerned about here as he sets for the 1-2 delivery. Ball 2 to even the count. I was talking about Ryan Daly earlier and how he's been the star of the staff for USF. He pitched on Tuesday. Fouled back off the screen by Palucci. There's another foul ball off to the right. A good long at bat for Palucci. He'll see a 7th pitch. Pileggi, deliberate worker on the mound. A little bit slower moving than most of his teammates. Ryan Daly in particular likes to get the ball and fly through it. St. Francis hurlers as a team tend to move fast. I don't know if that's a Brian Mahalik trait. If he encourages that or if it just kind of worked out that way based on the pitchers they've got. Still 2-2 on Palucci. He'll see an 8th pitch. This is very different than most of the innings we've seen today. In both games 1 and early in game 2, hitters on both teams have been very aggressive. So it's weird that Pileggi's already approaching 20 pitches for this inning. Hasn't even given up a base runner. Another foul ball to the right side and out of play. This will be the 9th pitch of the at-bat. Palucci in game 1 went 2 for 3 with a double and a pair of RBIs. He was also hit by a pitch once. He was hit by a pitch a different time, which he was called for a strikeout for leaning into it. 9th pitch of the at-bat. We'll see a 10th. Palucci is keeping it alive in the right-handed batter's box for Roosevelt. If he reaches base, Sebastian Casillas will bat next. If this marathon battle finally concludes with an out, we'll move into the bottom of the 2nd inning. Next pitch misses low and away. Palucci has worked the count full in the truest sense of the word. He has worked it full. He's forced Pileggi into this position. The 11th pitch, 3-2 count. Ball 4, he walked him. First walk issued today by Pileggi. Palucci would not give in to him. He fouled off 5 two-strike pitches, and he ultimately does find his way aboard. After 4 straight had been retired, Pileggi has to pitch with a man on base once again. Sebastian Casillas is the batter. Casillas swings at the first pitch and launches it out to deep right field, back towards the warning track. Lepage goes back and watches it sail over the fence. After Palucci worked an 11-pitch walk, Sebastian Casillas goes deep to right field on the very first pitch. A 2-run homer makes it a 5-4 ball game. The bottom of the order. Getting it done for Roosevelt. For Sebastian Casillas, home run number 1. RBIs number 7 and 8 this season for the freshman from California. First career collegiate homer. Makes it a 1-point game, or 1-run game rather, in the top of the 2nd inning. Here's JoJo Mack, 1 for 1 with a single and a run of his own. Mack takes ball 1 inside. This has turned into a very long inning for Sam Pileggi. Well, how many times have I talked about it? He retired the first 2 batters, couldn't complete the inning. Roosevelt's been doing that all game. They're reminding you why it is so important that there are 3 outs for each team each inning. The 3rd time in today's doubleheader in which they've had 2 outs, nobody on, and then mounted a scoring rally. Strike called, 1-2. At one point in game 1, there were 2 outs, nobody on. They turned that into a 4-run inning. 1-2. Blooper on the right side of the infield, backing up Martinez. The second baseman makes the grab and ends the inning. But not before a 2-run, 2-out homer from Sebastian Casillas following the impressive walk for Luke Palucci. We'll head to the bottom of the second. 5-4, St. Francis still leads. Bottom of the second inning, St. Francis still has the lead. Despite a big two-run homer in the top of the inning for Roosevelt, Alex Martinez leads things off and takes ball one. Martinez led off last inning, walked on 4 pitches, so he's seen 5 tosses today. None of them have been in the zone. Make that 6. 6 in a row. 2-0 the count. Martinez's walk was the starter of a 5-run first inning rally for the Fighting Saints. Finally, a strike from Turner to Martinez. 2-1. We saw a lot of offense early in game 1 today as well, but nothing like this. Ball inside, 3-1. That game was 4-4 in the third inning, and then it really got quiet until late. Popped up. Right side foul ground in front of the Fighting Saints dugout, and it drops untouched out of the reach of Sammy Estrada. It did land on the field of play, but Estrada couldn't quite get to it. So the count is full. Looking to put him away. Kellen Turner winds up, delivers a looping liner into right field. A sliding catch made in right by Luke Palucci. 1 away. Palucci's had a couple of nice plays in right field, including the one that ended game 1 earlier today. Made a sliding grab in right and avoided a collision with Sebastian Casillas in the process, putting a stop to that one. Here's Josh Kernbauer. 1 out, nobody on. Kernbauer takes ball 1. He reached on an error his first time up. Senior infielder watches a strike clip the outside corner there. 0-2. Nate Maliska stands in the on-deck circle. Kernbauer pops it up, left side. Looks like it'll stay on the infield. Delgado actually does take 1 step back onto the outfield grass and makes the catch. 2 up, 2 down here in the second. After a disastrous first inning for Kellen Turner, he's looking to reverse that. Get himself and his teammates some confidence going into the third. Nate Maliska has dropped down a sacrifice bunt. No official at bat in this game. 0 for 3 in game 1. Ball 1. St. Francis still leads thanks to their big first inning. Maliska hits it in the air out to left field, backing up James Barry. Barry turns back towards the infield and makes the catch. 1-2-3 in the bottom of the second inning. On to the third. 5-4. Saints lead. Top of the third, Roosevelt has the momentum, but St. Francis has the lead. Lakers will try to capture it from them with Heyman, Ogawa, and Delgado due up. Lakers scored 2 runs in each of the first 2 innings. And they'll try to match that here and take that lead with Heyman leading things off. Left-handed hitting center fielder facing Pileggi for the second time. He takes a ball up high. Sam Pileggi has struggled through 2 innings, not in the usual way. Typically his problems are walks. He walks more than a man per inning. In fact, it's almost 2 men per inning. There's a high fly into center field hit by Heyman. Playable for Vickers, who moves back and makes the catch. 1 down. Pileggi does not typically get hit all that hard. Today, he's given up 3 hits, including a homer, through 2 innings.
Third baseman, number 2.
So he's looking to turn that around as he faces Kakoa Ogawa. Ogawa is 1 for 1 with a double. He scored the second run of the game back in the first inning. Fouled back, strike 1. Sebastian Casillas hit his first collegiate home run on the first pitch he saw last inning. It's the only home run we've seen in today's twin bill. Ripped out to left field, a base hit for Ogawa. Ogawa didn't do much in the first game today, but he's making up for lost time. He has hit a few scorchers in his 2 at-bats in this game. 2 for 2 now with a single and a double. And Luis Delgado is the batter. Delgado popped out his first time up. 4 hits in this game already for Roosevelt. They've been walked once. Ball low and away on Luis Delgado. Delgado came in an even 300 hitter. 15 for 50 on the season. The runner on the move, swing and a miss. Throw to second is not in time. Ogawa dives in safely with a steal. Delgado was unable to make contact. So it's strike 1 to even up the count. But now there's a man in scoring position with only 1 out. Good opportunity here for Roosevelt at least to tie the score, if not take the lead. Delgado swings and misses. It's 1-2. Delgado doesn't strike out a lot, but he's had a few big cuts in this doubleheader that have led to swings and misses. Ball in the dirt, 2-2. He did strike out once in today's doubleheader back in game 1. And that was his 9th, or rather his 10th strikeout of the year offensively. 2-2. Little nubber down the first base line. It's got some weird spin back into fair territory. Pileggi scoops it up and applies the tag. 2 down. Ogawa advances to third on the play. And he stands there with Jack Kiefer coming up. 1 unassisted on the putout. Which always looks awkward in my scorecard. I'm just not accustomed to writing it.
First baseman, number 28, Jack Kiefer.
Kiefer is 0 for 1. He flew out to center field to end the first inning. Swing and a miss. Sun has slipped behind some clouds overhead. So overcast skies right now. The 0-1 pitch, chased for strike 2. It's a not unpleasant day today. Dooley Health and Care Field. I like the type where it would have felt really good in the sun, not as much in the shade. 0-2, swung on and missed, strike 3. And the inning comes to a close. Roosevelt wastes a leadoff single. They leave their man at third base. We go to the bottom of the third, 5-4, Fighting Saints.
Left on base for Roosevelt in the top. Right fielder, number 34, Jake Fakash.
Middle of the order for the Fighting Saints in the bottom of the third inning. They lead by 1. Jake Klepash leads things off and takes ball 1 from Kellen Turner. Turner got off to a really shaky start, but he has set down 5 consecutive St. Francis hitters. Had a very easy second inning, looking for more of the same in the third. He misses outside 2-0 on Klepash. Of the first 7 batters of the game for the Saints, 6 reached base as Klepash drives it out to deep right field down the line, but foul. And there's the first strike of the inning. It's 2-1. Of those first 7 batters, 6 reached base, and the only one that didn't was on a sac bunt. So he gave himself up. Klepash takes a strike over the outside corner, 2-2. Since then, though, 5 up, 5 down, trying to make it 6 in a row here, 2-2 on Klepash. He pokes it into left field, and it hangs in the air long enough for Barry to make a running grab. Good read from Barry. He had to get there quickly, and he did. Kept it from falling in front of him. Klepash is the 6th straight out recorded by Turner, and here's Brian Hidalgo. Hidalgo is 1 for 1 with an RBI single and also a run scored. 5 runs in the first inning for the Fighting Saints. Hidalgo fouls it off, strike 1. Ball inside, it's 1-1. There's a chopper to the left side of the infield. Delgado charges, gloves, and throws out his counterpart at first base, 6-3. 2 up, 2 down here in the third, and Kellen Turner is looking for another very quick inning. Easier said than done. He's got to get through Drew Dant, who singled and scored in the first inning. Dant is the only one with a safe hit to the outfield today for the Fighting Saints. Ball 1 low. Seemed like that first inning was so successful for St. Francis. They would have been spraying the ball all over the place, but only 3 hits in the inning. There's their 4th of the game as Dant hits it out to right center field, cut off in deep center by Bryce Heyman, but Dant is able to make it into second base with a 2-out double. Dant is 2 for 2 in this game. That's his 8th double of the season, which ties Nate Maliska for a team high. Here's John McGuire. McGuire swings and misses. Strike one. Last time up, John McGuire drew a bases-loaded walk. So he's got an RBI today. Ground ball up the middle. Delgado to his left. Makes a sliding stop. Throws to first. The throw is off the line. Dance is going to try to score. The throw comes home, and it's wild. Dance scores to make it 6-4. McGuire moves up to second base on the throwing error. Third error of the game committed by Roosevelt. St. Francis's lead is back up to 2. Very aggressive base running from Dant, but the fielding, and in particular the throwing today, has really not been sharp, so you might as well put some pressure on the defense. That's what he did. Worked out just fine. Third error for Roosevelt. It is an infield single, I believe, for McGuire. Yeah, they did give him credit for the hit, as expected. But the error advanced him to second base on that throw home. 1-0 Vickers is in the dirt. McGuire will try for third. The throw comes in, not in time. Close play at third base. But McGuire slides in just ahead of the tag. Speaking of aggressive base running, make them make a play. They haven't proven yet that they can do it. So now there's a man 90 feet away with 2 outs, a 2-0 count on Cliff Vickers. He swings and fouls it away, 2-1. Saints pulled a page out of the Roosevelt handbook this inning as Vickers knocks it into left field down in front of Barry. It's an RBI base hit as McGuire crosses home plate, 7-4. This has been the MO for Roosevelt all day, both games of the doubleheader. Clutch 2-out hitting. We've seen Roosevelt do it so many times where they've had 2 outs, nobody on, and somehow turned it into a multi-run rally. Well, that's exactly what the Saints have done here in the third inning. Dan Gusel takes strike one. Gusel popped out to first base to end the first inning. Now he bats with a man on and 2 out in the third. Ball outside, 1-1. Big swing from Gusel, can't connect. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Vickers is the man at first base. If Gusel reaches, Martinez will bat next. Callan Turner had retired 5 in a row, but now 3 straight men have hits against him. Gusel trying to make it 4 straight, checks up his swing and takes ball 2 to even the count. Foul back. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs. 1 on, a 3-run lead for the Saints, matching their biggest. They're up 5-2. Now it's at 7-4. This offense keeps rolling for the Fighting Saints of late. Gusel hits one hard into left field right at Barry, who barely has to move a muscle to make the catch. Inning over, but another productive one for the Fighting Saints. They scored 2 runs on 3 consecutive 2-out hits. They leave a man at first. We'll go to the 4th, 7-4, St. Francis. Top four. It's been back and forth so far. Both offenses have been good early in this game. 7-4 after 3 innings. Bottom of the order is nigh for Roosevelt. The number 6 man, James Berry, leads things off and takes ball 1 from Sam Pileggi. Berry, Estrada, and Palucci do up this inning. Pileggi trying to settle in. He's been up and down through the first 3 frames. High for a ball, 2-0. Just 1 walk through 3, which is way below his season average. But he has given up some hard hit balls. 2-0 finds the zone. It's 2-1. Pileggi gave up 2 in the top of the first, but his offense gave him 5 runs of support in the bottom of the inning, so he's been pitching with the lead ever since. Swing and a miss, 2-2. Hasn't been easy. The Lakers have worked up his pitch count. They've put a lot of men on base against him. I talked during game 1 about Roosevelt's problems hitting with men on. And ultimately they scored 4 runs in the 6th to make it all a moot point. There's a high fly ball out to center field. Cliff Vickers is underneath it. And Vickers makes the catch. 1 out. Leadoff man retired for the 3rd straight inning. The Lakers did have a problem scoring runners in game 1. They stranded 12 men. Check that, 9 men. They stranded 9 men on base, which for a while looked like a problem, and then all of a sudden you score 4 runs in the 6th inning, you've got 9 runs on the board, and 9 left on doesn't look so bad anymore. That's driven out to left field and fouling out of play. Strike 1 on Sammy Estrada. And the same thing very well could happen here in game 2 for Roosevelt. If they put a 3 or a 4 spot on the board here in the 4th inning, all their runners left on base aren't going to mean much. But they have stranded 5 through 3 innings. And when you trail by 3, you've left almost 2 men per inning on base. Something you're going to spend a lot of time thinking about. Ball low, 1-1. Baseball is just so situational in terms of how you look at the stats. Very few of these stats mean anything outside of the context of the game they're being played in. Popped foul to the right side. Miliska gives it a look, but that's in the seats. 1-2. Still no sign of the sun. It was bright and sunny all throughout game 1. It's one of those days where it's certainly warmer than it's been. We've been going through a cold patch the last couple of weeks in the Chicagoland area. Today's not a bad day. Temperature around 60 degrees. The 1-2. Line drive into left center field. Vickers on the run. Dives, and he's got it. Great play. Cliff Vickers. 2 down. Vickers had a beat on that one the whole way. He saw it. And I don't know that he could have taken a better route to that ball. And if he had taken one false step, he would not have been able to make that grab. But he laid out full extension, was able to pull it in. He robs Estrada of a hit. And now Pileggi looks for his first 1-2-3 into the game, facing his archenemy, Luke Palucci. Palucci swings at the first pitch and floats it into shallow center. That's playable for Vickers. An easier effort that time. He gets all 3 putouts in the inning. 1-2-3 go the Lakers in the 4th. We head to the bottom of the frame. 7-4 Saints. Top of the order for the Saints, bottom of the fourth inning. Alex Martinez is the leadoff man here, 0 for 1 in the game. With a walk and a run scored, he takes ball one low from Kellen Turner. I said last inning, it's been an up and down game for Pileggi. Same can be said for Turner. There's been more down than up for Turner, as he has given up 7 runs through 3 innings. 2-0 on Martinez. The other thing I was talking about last inning was runners left on base, which is something the Saints have not done much of. Strike called, 2-1. They've only stranded 2 through 3 innings while scoring 7 runs, so that's been a big difference. Through 3 innings, base runners were essentially even, but the Saints did more with theirs. Ball low, 3-1. Martinez in the driver's seat in this at-bat. He backs out of the way of a ball inside. Leadoff walk issued for the second time today. It's the third free The third free pass given overall by Kellen Turner, and it is likely last pitch he will throw. Yep, a call has been made to the bullpen. And so we'll have a new pitcher coming in for Roosevelt with a runner at first and nobody out in the bottom of the fourth inning. I'll tell you about the new pitcher in just a moment. 7-4, Saints lead. Saints have a 3-run lead in the bottom of the fourth inning. A man on first base, nobody out. The new pitcher for Roosevelt, junior right-hander Jared Daly, who hails from this area, actually went to Joliet Junior College to start his collegiate career. He's making his 7th appearance of the season for the Lakers. Daly is 2-0 with a 5.23 ERA. His first pitch to Josh Kernbauer is lined to the right side. Sliding stop made by Casillas. He bobbles, throws to first in time to get the out. So Kernbauer is retired on the first pitch. Martinez advances to second base on the play. 1 away. The batter is Nate Maliska. Good play by Casillas. It was a hard hit ball. He slid in front of it, wasn't able to make the play cleanly, but he knocked it down. And even though there was a bobble on it, the ball was hit hard enough that he had plenty of time to get Kernbauer over at first. Nate Maliska still hitless on the doubleheaders. It'd be a good time to snap out of that. 0 for 1 in this game with a sacrifice. He takes ball 1. Daly in 10 2/3 innings this year has allowed 11 hits, 7 runs, 6 of them earned, 6 walks, 11 strikeouts. Opponents are betting .282 against him. Second pitcher of the game for Roosevelt, Kellen Turner started, lasted just 3+ innings. The man on second is his responsibility. Meliska takes a strike over the inside corner. As it stands, the numbers on Turner: 3 innings, 6 hits, 3 walks, no strikeouts, 7 runs, 6 of them earned. Meliska takes a ball inside, 2-1. Actually, only 5 of those 7 runs are earned, I believe. I have to check on that again. 3 errors, actually, they've all led to unearned runs. So statistically, it's not going to be that bad a day. Meliska flies it into left center field. Barry chases it back. Barry's able to get to the spot and make the catch. Martinez tags from second and slides into third base ahead of the throw. So Nate Meliska is able to advance the base runner, but with 2 outs now, it's up to Jake Klepash to get him in. We've seen a lot of aggressive base running today. You don't see a whole lot of that. A runner tagging from second and going to third on a flyout to left field. It's just a matter of where the fielder's body's going. Barry was drifting back as he made the catch, so Martinez thought it was worth the chance, and he got there just ahead of the throw. Klepash swings and misses. Let's be honest, I've talked about all the aggressive base running. I can't think of a time that anybody's run into an out in the doubleheader today. This is our 11th inning of baseball. I've seen a lot of guys taking extra bases. Don't think we've seen anybody tagged out on one of those attempts as Klepash fouls it away, 0-2. And there have been several times where a good throw would have cut someone down. But that's kind of the point. If you don't trust your opposition to make a good throw, then run on them. See what happens. The 0-2 is bounced off his foot. Still no balls and 2 strikes. Again, the runner at third belongs to Turner. Daly is trying to pitch out of this 4th inning jam and keep it at just a 3-run game. Roosevelt has had plenty of base runners in this one. Down 3, they don't feel half bad about where they're at. Klepash rolls another foul ball, this time to the left side. Still 0-2. You don't feel good about it. You'd rather be up by 3 than down by 3, but there's plenty of time for Roosevelt to make a comeback. However, they have to buckle down on this side right now. They've got to make sure that the Saints can't keep tacking on. Klepash grounds it past first. That's another foul ball. Three straight 2-strike foul balls, so Klepash will see a 6th pitch here. Count still 0-2. Daly sets and deals. Grounded foul. Same spot as the last one. At least very similar. Daly has come in pounding the strike zone. Klepash has been aggressive, protecting the plate and doing a good job of it. Daly trying to put him away once and for all after 4 straight foul balls. There's the 5th straight foul ball. The last 3 have all been pretty much the same spot, ground balls past first base. They've gotten increasingly further from the foul line. These 2 were teammates at Joliet Junior College, Jake Klepash and Jared Daly. Daly misses outside, 1-2. Ninth pitch of the at-bat is in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Alex Martinez walked to lead off the inning. That was against Kellen Turner. Turner departed. Daly came in, got Kernbauer to ground out, Meliska to fly out. Both of them advanced Martinez 90 feet, so he's at third. 2-2 on Klepash, and another foul ball. Well, this will at least tie the longest at-bat of the game. Luke Palucci walked on the 11th pitch he saw from Sam Pileggi back in the 2nd. That led to a 2-run homer with 2 outs in the inning. Now the 11th pitch to Jake Klepash misses low for ball 3. So he'll see a 12th pitch with the count full. It was 0-2 for a long time. He's been patient. Foul back again. The first ball of this at-bat was on the 8th pitch. Now it's full. This will be the 13th pitch of the at-bat to Jake Klepash. Daly trying to finally put him away. Klepash trying to get that run in from third base. 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th inning. Fly ball into fair territory this time. It's playable. Bryce Heyman backs up and puts it away. Inning over. Quite a battle, but on the 13th pitch, Klepash flies out to center, and St. Francis does not score in the 4th. They leave a man at third base. We'll head to the 5th, 7-4 Saints.
Leading off the 5th inning for Roosevelt.
4 innings down, 5 still to go. It's 7-4. St. Francis leads Roosevelt. Sam Pileggi on for his 5th inning of work. He's retired 5 consecutive batters, 7 of the last 8. And he faces Sebastian Casillas for the 2nd time today. Casillas, the freshman infielder, homered his last time up. This time he drops down a bunt, and the Saints let it roll foul for strike 1. Well, it's the old homer into a bunt trick. Show some power in one at bat. The next time, nobody expects you to drop one down. Generally speaking, though, bunt hits, infield singles are probably going to be a much bigger part of Casillas' game than the long ball is. Had that big hit earlier, though, a 2-run shot that made it a 1-run game at the time. It's now a 3-run deficit for Roosevelt. Casillas hits it into the air to left field, right at Josh Kernbauer. Kernbauer makes the catch, 1 down. Last 4 batters have all hit the ball into the air, but they've all been right at somebody. 6 straight, retired by Pileggi, and we're back to the top of the order, and JoJo Mack. Mack is a junior transfer from Oakton Community College. 1 for 2 in this game with a run scored. Strike 1 called at the knees. The 0-1 pitch misses low and outside. 1 ball and 1 strike on Mack. Bryce Heyman stands on deck. Getting a little bit cooler, I think, here inside Dooley Health and Care Field. But still pleasant conditions for a ball game, especially this time of year. These guys are used to playing in 35, 40-degree temperatures at this stage of the season. Line into right field. That's a base hit for JoJo Mack. His 2nd of the ball game. He's at first with 1 down.
Center fielder number 6.
6th hit of the game for Roosevelt, their first one since Kikoa Ogawa singled back in the third inning. But they've got a chance here to claw their way back into the game. Heyman is the batter. Pickoff throw to first, and Mack dives back in safely. Today's the type of day where it's really warm in the sun. A little uncomfortable once you're in the shade. And shade has settled in all over the ballpark as Heyman fouls it away. 0-1. It was a sun-splashed afternoon when this one started. Game 1 was played in beautiful conditions. A 7-inning, 9-4 victory for the Lakers. This game so far 7-4. Saints on top. Ball up and in on Heyman. He had to duck out of the way of it. 1-1. Heyman has flown out to his opposite number in center field twice in this game. He's 0 for 2. Had a better run of success in game 1 with a walk, a hit, a run, and 2 RBIs. Popped up foul, out of play, back behind home plate. Up onto the roof. Here in Joliet, 1-2 the count. Pelleggi hasn't induced a lot of ground balls today. In fact, there's been only one ground ball out. That was hit back to him. But he'd like one here, trying to get a double play. Just off on the 1-2 pitch. Count is even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Another pickoff attempt at first base, and Mack is easily back. 7 steals this year for Mack. He doesn't swipe him at a very high percentage. He's just 7 of 11. Taking a very short lead over at first. High pop up, left side foul. Dant gives a run at it, and he's out of room. Still 2-2 on Bryce Heyman. It's another long at bat for a Roosevelt hitter. He's up at 70 pitches now for the game. 2-2 pitch. Hard hit line drive, but foul. I don't want to jinx it, but Pelleggi still has just the 1 walk in this game. He's been very sharp in that regard. He also has just 1 strikeout. Wouldn't mind one right here with the runner on. He checks on Mack again over at first. Two and two. That's flown out to center field. Vickers has had a busy day out there. He moves to his right, makes the catch. Mack retreats to first base this time. Second out of the inning. That is the 7th putout in this game for Cliff Vickers. There have only been 14 total outs. Half of them have been hit to him. He made that great diving play on the Sammy Estrada line drive back in the 4th. Most of the plays have been routine. Here's Kikoa Ogawa. 2 for 2 with a single and a double. Ogawa takes ball 1 low and away. Next pitch is hit into center field. A long run this time for Vickers. Can he get there? He slides and he pulls it in. Another nice defensive play by Vickers, who stays busy. 8 putouts in the game for Vickers. A couple of nice diving grabs. And the top of the 5th comes to a close without Roosevelt having scored a run. JoJo Mack singles, but he's stranded at first. Halfway through this thing. 7-4, St. Francis. 7-4 Saints as they come to bat in the bottom of the fifth. Brian Hidalgo is the batter. 1 for 2 with an RBI single in this game. He faces Jared Daly. Daly's first pitch is a strike. Jared Daly came on last inning with a man at first, nobody out. Alex Martinez eventually made it all the way to third base but didn't score. Daly retired all 3 batters he faced. Wasn't easy. Strike called on Hidalgo, 0-2. Threw 18 pitches, 13 of them to Jake Klepash, but Klepash eventually flew out to center field. The 0-2 pitch misses up. 1-2. Brian Hidalgo, Drew Dant, John McGuire. That's your trio of Saints for the 5th inning. One, two is driven out to deep left field down the line, and that is fair. A home run for Brian Hidalgo. First home run of the day for the Fighting Saints, and they've added to their lead. It's now 8-4. That ball was crushed by Hidalgo. The only question was fair or foul. From where I'm sitting, I thought it had curled the wrong way around the foul pole, but home plate umpire was right on top of it. Fair ball. Homer for Hidalgo. It's his 2nd this year. His 18th RBI. Here's Drew Dant. It's a homer for each side in the game now. Lakers hit a 2-run shot a little bit earlier. Dant takes ball 1. Drew Dant's had a good game, a single, a double, and 2 runs. He had about 47 RBIs on Tuesday, so today I guess is a letdown in comparison. That's hit hard down the left field line, but it's foul. Strike 1. Eight runs on 7 hits now for the Fighting Saints. They scored 5 in the first, thanks in large part to a couple of costly errors. 2 more in the third and 1 here in the 5th. The odd innings have been good to them. Ball 2 on Dant. The starter, Kellen Turner, I finally ascertained his stat line. In his 3 innings pitched, he allowed 7 runs, but only 3 of the 7 were earned. Thanks to 3 errors. That's down the left field line off the bat of Dant, and fair down into the corner. Dant turns on the Jets, heads to second base, and makes it in standing up. A home run and a double. That's what starts off the bottom of the 5th for the Fighting Saints. They look to pull away from Roosevelt in the middle innings here. John McGuire will bat. Third double of the doubleheader for Dant. It has been a double header. He's got a team best 9 two-baggers on the season now to go along with his team best 6 home runs, 16 extra base hits for Dant this year, and just 24 games played. McGuire tried to hold up his swing on the first offering, but couldn't do it. Strike 1. Next pitch grounded through the hole on the left side. Dant is held at third base. A hard hit ball by McGuire. It got to James Berry and left so quickly that there was no sense in taking the extra risk on the throw that time. Still nobody out in the inning. 3 straight hits for the Fighting Saints, and they are at the corners. Looks like we're going to get another pitching change here. Cliff Vickers coming to bat. No signal has been made to the bullpen yet, but there is a right-hander warming up. Roosevelt head coach Jason Becker is out on the mound, talking things over for the moment with Jared Daly. We'll see if he sticks with Daly. He might just be giving his reliever a little bit more time to warm up. Pitcher throwing in the pen right now is junior A.J. Gliwa, and he will not be called on just yet. After the meeting on the mound concludes, it's still Daly out there to face Vickers. Sam Pileggi has settled in. He's had a very nice last few innings. Hasn't given up a run since the second. So the Saints creating some separation here, starting to feel a little bit more comfortable. Ball one outside on Cliff Vickers, which is different than saying that they are feeling comfortable, just more comfortable. Roosevelt knows at this stage in the game now they can't afford to go down by much more than they already are. Felt a little bit differently early in the game. Vickers grounds it off the glove of the first baseman Kiefer. It ricochets into right field. Dance scores. McGuire heads to third. It's a single for Vickers, and it's a 9-4 ball game. It's a hard hit ball from Vickers, even if Kiefer is able to make a diving stop. Looked like Dant was coming home from third. That's a really difficult play for Kiefer, but it's a costly one that he couldn't make it, because now the situation remains the same with runners at first and third, nobody out, but one more run is in, and now we do have a pitching change. So Daly departs. Looks like Gliwa coming in. I'll tell you about him in just a moment. 5-run lead for the Fighting Saints, bottom of the fifth. Crunch time for Roosevelt. We're still relatively early in the game, only the fifth inning. A lot of baseball still to be played, but a 5-run deficit right now can turn into 6 or 7 in a hurry if the Fighting Saints can pick up a big hit here from Dan Goosel, facing the new pitcher, A.J. Gliwa, the junior outfielder out of Providence Catholic High School. Gliwa has no record, a 6.75 ERA in 4 games. Through 6 2/3 innings, he's allowed 5 runs on 6 hits and 7 walks. He has 4 strikeouts, and he paints the outside corner for strike one on Dan Goosel. Goosel is 0 for 2 with a pop-out and a line-out so far today. Gliwa out of the stretch, delivers. Goosel pops it up, foul and out of play. Gliwa is actually listed on the Roosevelt roster as an outfielder, but he doesn't have an at-bat this year. He's been used exclusively as a pitcher. It's his 5th appearance. Trying to get out of a jam here in the 5th. Runners at the corners, nobody out. Goosel takes low and away, 1-2. Jared Daly pitched 1 inning, went 1-2-3 in the 4th, and then came back out for the 5th and went 1-2-3-4, all of them hits. Check swing on appeal. He did not go around. It's 2-2. Home run, double, single, single. That's been the inning so far for the Fighting Saints. 2 runs are in. 2 more are on with nobody out. Goosel doesn't need a hit here to extend the lead. 2-2 pitch. Ball downstairs, full count. Gliwa had him 0-2. Now he's in danger of losing him. Top of the order coming up next. Alex Martinez takes his swings on deck. Payoff pitch. Ground ball to the shortstop. This will get a run in. It'll also get at least 1 out. The throw to first pulls Kiefer off the bag, but he applies the tag for a double play. 6-4-3, nicely turned by Roosevelt. A run does score for the Fighting Saints. It's 10-4. But this game had a chance to go south in a hurry for the Lakers. So that's a big one for them that they're able to get 2 outs on the play. No RBI for Goosel. Alex Martinez bats with 2 outs, nobody on. Tries to hold up his first swing, but he can't. Strike 1. Martinez is 0 for 1. He's walked twice. Ground ball left side and under the glove of the diving Ogawa. Third time today that Martinez has reached base. Thought about second, but he holds up where he is. James Berry bobbled it in left field. But Martinez didn't see it quickly enough to head to second base, so he'll stay at first. Base hit with 2 down. Here's Josh Kernbauer. Kernbauer is 0 for 3. He reached on an error and scored in the first. Ball 1 in the dirt. Lakers have committed 3 errors in the game. Every one of them has led to at least 1 run scoring. The 1-0. High fly, shallow right. Coming in, Palucci makes the catch. Inning over. 3 more runs score for St. Francis on 5 hits. They leave 1. On our way to the 6th, the Saints have taken a commanding lead. It's now 10-4. Big lead for St. Francis as we move into the 6th inning, 10-4. This is a Roosevelt team that can hit, though. You don't want to count your chickens before they've hatched. It is Luis Delgado leading off the 6th inning for Roosevelt. He didn't know it. Jack Kiefer didn't know it. Finally, they did get things sorted out before they officially batted out of order, but Kiefer, who is on deck, was in the batter's box to start the inning. And fortunately for the Lakers, he stepped out before any pitch was thrown. Luis Delgado takes ball 1 inside from Sam Pileggi. St. Francis' starter still on the mound in the 6th inning. So far, it's been probably his best outing of the year. Strike called, 1-1. Delgado's 0 for 2 with a pop out and a ground out. His ground out is the only one of the game. Everything else has been in the air. 1-1. That's in the air, but it's foul to the right side. Looks like it'll get out of play. And indeed it does. 1-2. Roosevelt took game 1 9-4. By similar scores, St. Francis leads here in game 2. That was a 7-inning game, though. This one is 9. More time for Roosevelt to come back. And again, there's more time for the Saints to add to their lead. Ball inside, 2-2. Pileggi's been tough to hit. You've got to imagine he's getting pretty close to the end of his day. Approaching 80 pitches. Nobody's warming up in the bullpen right now. Delgado takes the ball outside, full count. Roosevelt was swinging the bats really well in the first 2 innings. They scored 4 runs in the first 2 frames. Since then, just 2 base runners over the last 3 innings. And there's their third. Delgado draws the walk. Only the second one of those issued today by Pileggi. That's the good news. He's walked only 2 through 5+ innings. Bad news is he's walked the leadoff man. He was ahead of Delgado 0-2 and then missed on 4 straight. Now it's Jack Kiefer's turn. He was a little early before. He takes strike 1. Kiefer flew to center in the first, struck out swinging in the third. That's the only strikeout of the game so far for Pileggi. The 0-1 is bounced towards the dugout on the third base side, 0-2. That's the visitors' dugout. St. Francis occupies the home dugout on the first base side. Righty to righty, the 0-2. Upstairs, ball 1. Second straight hitter that Pileggi has gotten ahead of 0-2. He doesn't want to toy around with Kiefer and risk losing him the way he did with Delgado. Short lead over at first base, the 1-2 pitch. Ground ball to third, that's foul. Pileggi is looking for his first win of the year. Mac Malshevsky picked up his second win of the year on Tuesday. That was the game where his team scored 30 runs. And when you give up 10 or more runs and still walk away with a win, as a starting pitcher, you're usually pretty happy about it. Probably happier if you don't give up any runs. Ball up and away, 2-2. But he became just the second pitcher on this roster with more than 1 win. And this is a team now, St. Francis. They got off to a slow start, but they're closing in on the 500 mark now. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Pileggi gets Kiefer for the second time today. 1 down in the 6th. The Saints had a chance with a win today.
Left fielder number 23, James Berry.
With 2 wins, I should say, to get to 500 for the first time after that really tough start to non-conference play. Swing and a miss from Berry, 0-1. They went 2-10 in non-conference games, and they almost today clawed their way all the way back to 500, but they lost game 1, so they're 10-13 overall. A win here would give them a chance to get back to 500 tomorrow. Ball low and in, 1-1. They've got 2 more games tomorrow afternoon. Those will be at Roosevelt. 1-1. Inside for a ball. Snap throw down to first base. Delgado back to the bag safely. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. 6-run lead for St. Francis. Went to St. Xavier on Tuesday, tied with the Cougars for first in the conference, and then they swept them to take a 2-game lead in sole possession of first. That ball flown into right center field. That's trouble for the Saints. It finds the gap. Extra bases for Berry. Delgado around third base. Delgado's going to score. The throw comes into third, and Berry is safe there with a triple. An RBI that makes the score 10-5. Berry's had a nice day at the ballpark today. That's his 3rd hit of the doubleheader and his 3rd RBI. That's his first hit of this game. But 3 hits, 3 RBIs on the day. He's up to 17 runs batted in now for the season. And that's his 5th triple of the year.
Catcher number 43.
Here's Sammy Estrada, a man at third base and 1 out. 1 run already in. Roosevelt trying to keep St. Francis within their sights. Ball up and in, 1-0. Estrada struck out swinging in the second. Last time up, he had a line drive into center field. Cliff Vickers made a great diving play to rob him of a base hit. The 1-0 is popped up down the right field line. Meliska chasing it into the bullpen area, and that's out of play. 1-1. You know, I was saying before, a couple weeks ago, I was looking at St. Francis' stats and talking about this on the air. Nobody's got a win other than Ryan Daly. Well, that makes sense when you're 2-10. Now they've got 10 victories on the year, but Daly is still picking up the lion's share of them. He's 5-1. So the rest of the team is 5-11. But Malshevsky picked up his second win of the year on Tuesday, and a chance for Pileggi today to get his first as that ball's flown into shallow left. Kernbauer comes in, makes the grab. Barry tags from third but stays put. A good throw in from left field by Josh Kernbauer. 2 down in the inning. And it'll be up to Luke Palucci to get this run in. It's a big run over at third. We're still only in the 6th inning. But you're down by 5. You've got a runner at third base with less than 2 outs. You better score when you've only got 10 outs to play with. Well, now they've got 10. They had 11 when he got to third. There is 1 run in this inning for Roosevelt. That's a big one, but 1 run at a time isn't going to cut it at this stage. Not enough time for that. Pileggi's first pitch to Palucci is swung on and missed, strike 1. In Palucci's first 2 at-bats, he walked in an 11-pitch duel. And then in his next at-bat, he flew out on the first pitch. It all averages out. The 0-1. Tapper down the third base line, foul, 0-2. Pileggi try to put him away. Somebody's warming up in the bullpen right now for St. Francis. Looks like Luke Gunther. So there's a good chance that this is it for Pileggi. He'd like to finish strong. Get Palucci and end this 6th inning. The 0-2. Strike 3 called, and the inning is over. 4th strikeout of the ball game for Sam Pileggi. And he gives up 1 run in the 6th, but he forces Barry to stay at third base. The Lakers are unable to get him in from third with less than 2 outs. And a very critical run is left on the bases for Roosevelt. We head to the bottom of the 6th. St. Francis 10, Roosevelt 5. Nate Meliska will lead off the bottom of the 6th inning for St. Francis. Saints have led pretty much the whole game. Roosevelt scored 2 in the top of the 1st. But the Saints responded with 5 in the bottom of the inning. They've led ever since. Meliska flies the first pitch of the inning out to center field, right at Bryce Heyman. Heyman puts it away, 1 down. Leadoff man retired on the first pitch. Here's Jake Klepash. 10-5, St. Francis leads. They've out-hit Roosevelt 11-6. Klepash swings to the first pitch, grounds it right to third base. Kakoa Ogawa fires to first, 2 down. Good start to the inning for A.J. Gliwa, 2 outs on 2 pitches. He'll face Brian Hidalgo for the first time. Hidalgo's 2 for 3 with a homer. Again, it's the first time he's faced Gliwa, who came in with runners at the corners and no outs in the 5th. He let one of those runs score, but nothing more. He's now retired 4 of the 5 batters he's faced. Hidalgo backs out of the way of ball 1 inside, so no 3-pitch inning here for Gliwa. 2 outs. Nobody on, 1-0. Foul tipped into the catcher's glove. Strike 1. That evens things up. Next pitch is fouled back behind home plate. 1-2 count. Gliwa is 1 strike away from a perfect inning. There's been one of those in the game for Roosevelt pitching. That was the second when the starting pitcher Kellen Turner retired the top of the order, 1-2-3. Hidalgo lifts it into right field towards the line. Palucci is under it, and Palucci makes the catch. It is a perfect 6th inning worked by A.J. Gliwa. Nice frame for the junior, keeping the Lakers in this thing with 3 innings still to play. St. Francis 10, Roosevelt 5.
No hits, no errors, and no.
Luke Gunther is the new pitcher for St. Francis as we mosey our way into the 7th inning. 10-5, the Fighting Saints have the lead over the Lakers. Gunther is on for the 9th time this year, 8th as a reliever. He's 1-2 with a 6.6 ERA. In 15 innings, he's allowed 17 runs, 11 of them earned on 21 hits, with 10 strikeouts and 3 walks. His first pitch is taken outside for ball 1 on Sebastian Casillas. Casillas has homered and flown out today. He's 1 for 2. The left-handed hitting second baseman takes a strike. 1-1. Sam Pileggi was the starter today. He's in line for the victory. Went 6 innings. Allowed 5 runs, all of them earned on 6 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Ball 2 on Casillas. Five runs, 6 hits, 3 errors for Roosevelt. 10 runs, 11 hits. No errors for St. Francis. Ball 3, Gunther falls behind Casillas. Lakers trying to get their leadoff man on base for the 2nd straight inning on a walk. It was Luis Delgado in the 6th. He came around to score. There's ball 4. Third free pass issued by St. Francis pitchers today. And for the 2nd straight inning, it is the leadoff man given first base. Leads to the top of the order this time around. JoJo Mack will be the batter.
JoJo Mack.
Gunther, unlike Pileggi, who had pretty good control today, has not really had walk problems this season. Just 1 every 5 innings. But 5 of his first 6 pitches today have missed the zone. 1-0 on Mack. JoJo Mack is 2 for 3, 2 singles and a run scored. Ball high. He is consistently missing high. 6 of his first 7 have been out of the zone. Gunther sets for the 2-0. Mack takes a strike. That's a big strike from Gunther. He needed it. It both gets him back in this at bat. 3-0 would have been disastrous there. And hopefully it gets him to calm down a little bit. Pick off throw to first, not in time. I think when you come in and it's immediately ball, 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 might mess with your composure a little bit, so that strike gives him a chance to take a breath. Here's the 2-1. Liner off the glove of Gunther. It lands right in front of him, and he's got no play anywhere. It's an infield hit. Boy, that was so close on a couple of occasions to being a great play by Gunther. Mack is aboard on the infield single. Casillas advances to second base. Nobody out. And the Lakers are threatening in this 7th inning. It's a tough play for the pitcher. A hard hit ball right back up the box. He got his glove on it. That's impressive enough. Bryce Heyman digs in, 0 for 3. He's played Pepper with Vickers out in center field. Ball 1 outside. But he was not able to squeeze it tight enough. The ball popped out of his gloves and went straight up into the air. The problem was he didn't see it. If he had seen it, he could have caught it off his own deflection and then potentially thrown it to first and gotten a double play, but he didn't know where the ball went when it left his glove. So even though it landed right in front of him, he couldn't find it and consequently had no play. That ball taken deep down the right field line, but it's a foul ball from Heyman. And the count is 1-1. Max at first. Casillas is at second. Good speed on the base paths. 1-1 on Heyman. Been a quiet game for him, but a base hit right here would break him out in a big way. 7 hits in the game now for Roosevelt after the Max single. Tappert on the first base line. They won't be able to get more than 1 out of this, but they are able to get the 1. Meliska picks it up and tags the base runner for the first out of the inning. Mack advances to second, Casillas to third. If this were a 2 or a 3-run game, that would be a really nice result for Roosevelt. With a 5-run deficit, you don't want to give up the out, but the silver lining for them is that they are able to advance the runners. Here's Kakoa Ogawa. Dangerous bat. He's got a really good RBI chance. He hits it high in the air out to left field. This should be deep enough to get a run in as Kernbauer gets himself underneath it and makes the catch. That runner does score from third base to make it 10-6. Max stays at second base on the play. It's a sacrifice fly for Ogawa. Here's Luis Delgado. Well, Gunther's still got one more big out that he needs to get, but so far so good after a rocky start to this inning. He's bounced back and gotten 2 batters in a row. Liner up the middle, but Martinez is right there. The second baseman was shading him towards second base. Had to take just 1 step to his left to make the catch. Delgado is retired despite a hard hit ball, and the inning comes to a close. A promising start for Roosevelt. They get 1 out of it. On 1 hit, they leave a man at second. Time to stretch here in Joliet. It's the Saints 10 and the Lakers 6. Bottom 7, St. Francis 10, Roosevelt 6. Terry Bonadonna with you on the USF Sports Network. Bring you the play-by-play of today's game. Drew Dant leads things off for the Fighting Saints against A.J. Gliwa and fouls off the first pitch, strike one. Gliwa has retired 5 of the 6 batters he's faced in 2 innings since entering the contest. Third pitcher of the game for Roosevelt. The starter, Kellen Turner, gave up the first 7 runs. Jared Daly out of the bullpen gave up the next 3. Dant takes a ball outside, 1-1. Saints have led throughout this one. They've been up by as many as 6 runs. Still a good lead at 4 as Dant grounds it up the middle for a base hit. Leadoff single for St. Francis. Dant is at first base.
Designated hitter number 11, John McGuire.
It's still a good lead for them, but the way that Roosevelt's been chipping away, you'd like to stomp them out again here and add another run or 2. Here's John McGuire in a potential bunting situation. He's not going to drop one down here as he takes the ball outside. McGuire has not been retired in this game. 2 for 2. 2 singles, a walk. He's driven in a run. That was on the walk. He hits a high pop-up into shallow left center field. Barry and Heyman both come in. Bryce Heyman makes the grab. 1 down. It's only the second time McGuire's been retired in 7 trips to the plate during today's doubleheader. He had been 4 for 5 with a walk. Now 4 for 6 with a walk. And here's Cliff Vickers. Vickers is 2 for 3 with a couple of RBI singles. If he wants an RBI here, he'll have to hit something a little bit harder than that. Dant is at first base. Pickoff throw is wild, and Dant will head to second base. Ball is down into the bullpen, and Dant is going to try for third. Here comes the throw, just a little bit late. Brian Mahalik was waving him around the whole way. If he had been going hard around second base, he would have made it into third easily, but he didn't see his coach over in the third base coaching box. And so he stopped at second and then started again, still made it in, but it was close. That was the 4th error of the game against Roosevelt, and really they've all been costly. This one, I guess, not yet, but depends on what Vickers does. He lines it into right field, a base hit, and Dant scores to make it 11-6. Proves me wrong in the process. I told Vickers if he wanted to get another RBI, he was going to have to get something more than a single. Shows what I know. 2-base error preceding the single helped out a little bit. That run is unearned for the moment. That'll change if the inning progresses with a few more base runners. Dan Gusel is the batter. He swings at the first pitch, grounds it down the third base line. That's a foul ball. Gusel is 0 for 3. It's a crushing run to Roosevelt, trying to overcome a 6-run deficit. They scored 1 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th. Not as many as they wanted. They know that to win this game, they're going to have to put up a crooked number or 2 somewhere. Ball low on Gusel, 1-1. Still, it seemed like they were starting to get their bearings on offense. They were making some noise, coming back bit by bit. And to give up another run here essentially negates the offense that they produced last inning. Gusel takes ball 2. Saints are just 6 outs away from a win. And their lead is up to 5 as Gusel takes a strike, 2-2. And the inning isn't over. They've still got a man at first, only 1 out. If Gusel can reach base here with the top of the order coming up, Roosevelt's in some trouble. It's a big at bat. Grounder to third. That's another foul ball. Dan Gusel this season is just a 160 hitter. Down to 143 technically with his 0 for 3 performance so far today. He and Jake Murda have been splitting time behind the plate. Murda's picked it up offensively of late. Ball downstairs, 3-2. Gusel's trying to join him. He does have a .382 on base percentage, but today's 0 for 3. Full count One out, man at first. Goosel flies it out to deep left field. Long run back for Barry. Still going, and it's gone. Dan Goosel takes it out to left field. His first home run this year. RBIs number 4 and 5. And the lead is up to 7 for St. Francis. Second home run hit by the Saints in this game. Brian Hidalgo hit one a couple of innings ago. And we're back to the top of the order with the bases empty. And one out. It's Alex Martinez getting his 5th chance of the game. Martinez is 1 for 2 with 2 walks. He's been on base thrice in 4 trips to the plate. Strike over the inside corner, 0-1. Ground ball to the shortstop. Delgado up with it. Throw to first is dug out of the dirt by Kiefer. 2 away. After Goosel hit that home run, Roosevelt got their bullpen working in a hurry. But Gliwa is just 1 out away from finishing up the 7th now. So he faces Josh Kernbauer. 0 for 4 in the game. He did reach once on an error. Kernbauer fouls the first pitch to right field and out of play. Strike 1. Kernbauer came in hitting .261 this season. St. Francis as a team, after that massive doubleheader on Tuesday in which they scored 51 runs, got their team batting average all the way up to .319. Fouled away, 0-2. It's amazing how much change can be made statistically in just one day. Usually they don't score 50 runs in one day, so it doesn't always change quite that much. Swing and a miss. Kernbauer chased one out of the zone for strike 3. First strikeout of the game for Roosevelt pitching. And it ends the 7th inning, but not before the Saints score 3 runs on 3 hits. We'll head to the 8th. 13-6 St. Francis. Kiefer, Barry, and Estrada due up for Roosevelt. Lakers keep trying to claw their way back into this game, but every time they do, the Saints have an answer for them. St. Francis's lead now, the biggest it's been all game at 13-6. Jack Kiefer leads things off against the lefty Luke Gunther. First pitch grounded inside the third base line and down into the corner. Kiefer's got his first hit of the ball game as he heads for second base and slides in with a double. First pitch of the 8th inning. Pretty good one for Roosevelt. They've got their 8th hit of the game. Make that their 9th hit of the game. And it'll bring James Berry up
Number 23.
with a runner in scoring position. Berry is 1 for 3 with an RBI triple in the game. Pickoff throw back to second, not in time. Lakers scored 2 runs in the first, 2 in the second, then were quiet for a little while. They added 1 more in the 6th and 1 in the 7th. Saints have been pretty consistent all game. They score big numbers in the odd innings. 5 in the first, 2 in the third, 3 in the 5th, 3 in the 7th. Nothing in 2-4-6. Strike 1 called on Berry. Luke Gunther's in his second inning on the mound for St. Francis. Bouncing ball to the right side. This will get the runner over as Martinez's throw to first is in time. 1 out. Kiefer up to third. Sammy Estrada due to hit next. Since Gunther entered the game, he's allowed 3 base runners through an inning and a third. He started his appearance off with a walk and then a single, but he recovered after that, retiring the next 3 batters in order in the 7th inning. Despite the shaky start, he gave up just the 1 run. There's a fly ball deep down the left field line. It's got some good carry to it, but it's pulled foul. Strike 1 on Sammy Estrada. Roosevelt has won 5 of their last 6 ball games. Not in good shape in this one. They have just 5 outs left to play with. Estrada takes low and away, ball 1. Kiefer's over at third base. The Saints would prefer he not score, but all things considered, they don't care too much about him. Breaker over the outside corner, 1-2 on Estrada. The important thing for St. Francis is just getting outs here. Luke Palucci is on deck. The 1-2. Tapped foul. Estrada stays alive. Entering play today, St. Francis had only lost twice at home this year. 7-2 in home games, and they've been fortunate in that most of their conference games have been here. Ball low, 2-2. They had 2 games at St. Ambrose that were wiped out by the weather. They'll have to be made up later. And then they had 2 at Calumet St. Joe's, which were moved here instead because of bad weather in Indiana. Fouled away, still 2-2. So they had those 4 scheduled road games that weren't played. Their first 7 conference games were all at home, and then their 8th conference game started at home and was eventually moved out to Calumet for the last 7 innings. Fouled back, still 2-2. 2 days later, after the weather postponed the end of the game. But then back at home again today, so after this, it'll be 11 of their 14 conference games played in this building, which is a nice source of comfort. There's a high pop-up, shallow right field. Jake Klepash comes in on it. Klepash makes the catch. Kiefer stays where he is at third base. It's the second time today that Roosevelt has gotten a runner to third base with less than 2 outs and not gotten him in, at least on that play. Luke Palucci still has a chance to get him in, but he needs a hit now. The run of home games ends tomorrow. I guess it ended a couple of days ago. They had 2 at St. Xavier on Tuesday and now 2 at Roosevelt tomorrow. It'll be much more evenly split, presumably, the rest of the way. Ball inside, 1-0 on Palucci. 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. 7-run lead for the Fighting Saints in the top of the 8th inning. 1-0. Foul tipped. It's 1-1. That got Goosel. He hunched over immediately after the ball tipped back against him. Even count. And they'll take a few seconds to make sure that the Fighting Saints catcher's doing okay. Kiefer doubled to lead off this inning. He's still only at third base, though. Last chance to get him in now with 2 outs. The 1-1. Palucci takes a ball outside, 2-1. If he does reach base, Sebastian Casillas will bat next. Gunther's pitch grounded to the right side, playable for Martinez. He throws to first, inning over. Luke Gunther does yeoman's work, pitching around the leadoff double. 2 innings in the books for him. And we'll head to the bottom of the 8th. St. Francis 13, Roosevelt 6. Bottom 8, 13-6 St. Francis. They'll try to add to their lead against a new pitcher. Senior righty Kyle Winston out of Tinley Park, Illinois, is on for the 5th time this year, 4th as a reliever. He's 0-1 with a 9 ERA. He faces Nate Maliska to start off the 8th inning and misses outside, ball 1. In 5 innings this year, Winston has allowed 8 runs, 5 of them earned on 8 hits with 5 strikeouts and 2 walks. He misses inside, ball 1. He relieves A.J. Gliwa. Gliwa pitched 3 innings for Roosevelt in this game. He allowed 3 runs. All of them were earned. All of them were in the 7th inning. Maliska fouls it off, 1-1, 2-1 rather. Gliwa got off to a really good start. His first 2 innings were scoreless, and then he struggled in the 7th. 2-2 on Maliska, as he was not able to hold up his swing on that last one. Maliska 0 for 3 in the game, 0 for the doubleheader so far. He does have 1 sacrifice bunt. This one he pushes into left field down the line, foul. Just foul by a bit. Still 2-2. Winston is the 4th pitcher today for Jason Becker's team. Turner went 3, allowed 7. Daly went 1 and allowed 3. And then Gliwa went 3 and allowed 3. Fouled away. Again, all 3 runs on Gliwa were earned. One of them was unearned at the time he scored last inning, but the way the rest of that inning played out, he became an earned run. Winston is trying to shut the door here and keep his team in fighting spirit heading into the 9th. Fouled away by Maliska. He'll see an 8th pitch in this at-bat. We've had some long at-bats in this game. Palucci walked on an 11-pitch sequence against Sam Pileggi back in the 2nd inning. Ball high, 3-2. Jake Klepash flew out to center field to end the fourth. That was on the 13th pitch of that at bat. This is only number 9 from Winston to Maliska. And we'll get a 10th. Maliska has been red hot at the plate of late. It's been a tough day for him. 0 for 3 in game 1, 0 for 3 in game 2. But he finds his way on base. 10th pitch of the at-bat misses outside, ball 4. And Maliska is aboard to lead off the 8th inning. Here's Jake Klepash. Another guy who's red hot coming in. He's had a bit of a quiet day. He's 1 for 7 in the 2 games, but he does have an RBI in both games. And he has scored 1 run as well. This foul ball puts him behind 0-1. 14 hits in this game for St. Francis. Runner on the move, swung on and fouled back, 0-2. This is the 3rd time in their last 4 games that the Saints have reached double figures. They scored 21 and 30 in their last 2 games prior to today. Held to just 4 by Jake Glickman in game 1. All 4 of those runs came in the first couple of innings, and then Glickman just shut him down the rest of the way. Ended up going the distance. Line drive out to right field for Klepash. He's got a base hit. Maliska was moving with the pitch, so he makes it into 3rd easily, and they're at the corners with nobody out. St. Francis threatens to put this game away once and for all. Here's Brian Hidalgo. That was the 15th hit of the game for St. Francis. That .319 batting average they started the day with is on its way up. Brian Hidalgo is 2 for 4. He drives this one out to left field, and that's a fair ball right inside the line. A base hit for Hidalgo. Maliska scores. Klepash stops at 3rd. A double for Hidalgo. 14-6 St. Francis, and still nobody out. Hidalgo's got his 3rd hit of the game. A double to go along with a single and a homer. All of them have driven in a run. Speaking of red-hot hitters, which I have been all inning, here's Drew Dant, 4 for 4 in this game. 2 singles, 2 doubles, 4 runs scored, and a walk because he was just put on first base intentionally. The intentional walk puts Drew Dant on first. Hidalgo's at 2nd. Klepash is at 3rd. Roosevelt is not only trying to keep their very faint hopes alive in this game, they're just trying to get to the 9th inning right now. John McGuire could end it with a base hit. He's 2 for 3. 2 singles, a walk, 2 runs, and an RBI. He takes a ball inside. It's the first time the Saints have scored in an even inning today. All their previous runs had come in the 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 7th. Ball downstairs, 2-0 on McGuire. McGuire's already walked in a run once today. He could do it again. 3-0 counts. First 3 batters of the inning all got hits. But as soon as Jason Becker intentionally loaded the bases, Winston lost his command, which was fine earlier in the inning. Now a 4-pitch walk to McGuire, and it's 15-6. So John McGuire's had a doubleheader today in which he's come up to bat 8 total times, and he's got 4 hits. But he's got 2 RBIs, and neither of them came in the at-bats in which he got hits on any of his 4. Both of his RBIs came on bases-loaded walks. Klepash scores. Hidalgo at 3rd, Dant at 2nd. First pitch to Vickers is flown into shallow right. That drops in for a base hit for Cliff Vickers, his 4th RBI hit of the day, and that'll do it. That extends St. Francis's lead to 10, so it's your rare walk-off hit in the bottom of the 8th when you were up by 9 runs. 16-6 is our final score. Vickers has singles and RBIs in each of his last 4 at-bats. And really, it was a team effort today. Really impressive performance all around by the Fighting Saints in this second game. After Roosevelt took the opener 9-4, St. Francis just never stopped hitting here in game 2. 5 runs in the first, 2 in the third, 3 in the fifth, 3 in the 7th, and 3 in the 8th to officially end it. 16-6 is our score, and what'll go down in the books as an 8-inning game, although there was not a single out recorded in the 8th inning. The first 6 batters all reached for St. Francis. Roosevelt actually did lead in this game back in the top of the first. They scored the first 2 runs, getting a single from JoJo Mack, a double from Kakoa Ogawa, and then the runs scored on an error and a wild pitch. So it was 2-0, and it looked like it might be a rough day for the Saints, who were trying to avoid a doubleheader sweep. Well, they did avoid it by scoring 5 runs in the bottom of the inning and never looking back. They got RBIs from Klepash, Hidalgo, and McGuire in the inning. And then after Roosevelt scored 2 more runs in the second on a 2-run homer from Sebastian Casillas to make it 5-4, Sam Pileggi took over. He put 3 straight zeros on the board. In the meantime, the Saints were able to extend their lead. They got an RBI single from Cliff Vickers in the third, the first of what would eventually be 4 RBI singles in the game for him. McGuire had an RBI hit in the 3rd inning as well. The Saints added another run in the 5th inning on a solo homer for Brian Hidalgo, and then an RBI base hit for Vickers. Dan Gusel brought home a run on a double play. And the score at the time was 10-4 St. Francis. Roosevelt tried to come back. They got 1 in the 6th on an RBI triple from Barry, 1 in the 7th on a sac fly from Ogawa, but that was it for them. Saints never stopped. In the 7th inning, a 2-run homer for Gusel, another RBI single for Vickers, made it 13-6, and then the first 6 batters of the 8th inning all reached. They got an RBI double from Brian Hidalgo, bases loaded walk from McGuire, and then the game ender. Base hit from Vickers, his 4th RBI single of the game, made it 16-6. Our final total, 6 runs, 8 hits, 4 errors for Roosevelt. 16, 16, and 0 for St. Francis. Sam Pileggi picks up the victory. He went 5 innings in this one, or 6 innings in this one. He improves to 1-2 on the season. Nice work by Luke Gunther with 2 innings of relief. The losing pitcher in the game was the starter for Roosevelt, Kellen Turner. He falls to 0-4. He allowed 3 earned runs over 3 innings. Our final score, 16-6. It's a doubleheader split. St. Francis now 11-13, 9-3 in conference. Roosevelt is 14-11, 5-5 in conference. They'll do it again tomorrow up at Ozinga Field in Crestwood. Roosevelt hosts St. Francis in a doubleheader to wrap up this 4-game Easter weekend series. Again, our final score, Roosevelt takes game 1 9-4. St. Francis takes game 2 16-6. That'll do it for today. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed yourselves over an action-packed doubleheader. Until next time, this is Terry Bonadonna signing off from Dooley Health and Care Field in Joliet, Illinois. Have a good Friday night.